Yuzu stood face to face with the Great Emperor, and Shaoling, who was currently under the Great Emperor's control. The badger, covered in bruises and struggling, its eyes brimming with tears of grievance, cried out, "Master!" Yuzu stood before it, towering and still like a mountain. Seeing him, the Great Emperor narrowed his eyes, then burst into a loud laugh. "Ha ha 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 ha, you finally showed up." Yuzu suddenly raised his hand, lightly moving his fingers. 2 tree roots instantly shot out. A figure appeared amidst the dust cloud, lifting up the wounded golden monkey and the honey badger. The honey badger let out a small cry of surprise, while the golden monkey seemed too heavily injured to make a sound, its eyes appearing vacant. On the other side, the mermaid and the 5-headed serpent, which had 4 of its heads severed, were also retrieved from the bottom of the water by Yuzu. The phoenix and Panis, critically injured and unconscious, were also wrapped up by Yuzu's tree roots. In addition, the golden dragon, the pink dragon, and other exotic beasts all had their body parts collected by Yuzu, who wound them up and lifted them into the air. Under the gloomy sky was the scene of the ravaged exotic beasts of the misty mountains. She, still conscious with her face covered in blood, was relieved to see Yuzu had come to save her. But thinking of the Great Emperor's terrifying power, she couldn't help but frown in worry, and call out, "Master." Yuzu did not turn to look at her, his expression grim. He spoke in a cold voice, "All of you go to the space of vitality and wait for me." As soon as he finished speaking, the Great Emperor standing opposite him abruptly waved his hand forward and roared, "You want to save your subordinates? No way, my slave. Advance and eliminate them all." Shaoling, controlled by him, had a somber expression and cold, emotionless eyes. She quickly mobilized her spiritual energy and rushed forward frantically. Yuzu narrowed his eyes, his gaze chillingly sharp. "Shaoling, even you have been controlled." Shaoling did not answer him. She screamed and rushed to attack. Ah! The powerful spiritual energy enveloping Shaoling transformed her into a giant fire monster that lunged towards where Yuzu was standing. Yuzu stood still. He controlled a tree root to easily capture Shaoling, like reaching out to grab a ripe apple from a branch. The spiritual energy covering her instantly dissipated. She was bound in midair, unable to move another step. Shaoling screamed and struggled, trying to escape from the strong tree root wrapping around her. No one knew what method he used, but the dark aura that the Great Emperor had injected into Shaoling's body was quickly forced out by him, and her skin rapidly returned to its original state. The Great Emperor, watching this scene from the side, was slightly astonished, but he did not utter a single word. Yuzu gazed intently at him with eyes as sharp as knives. If the Great Emperor made any move, he would instantly react. The next second, he used the tree root to send Shaoling, the last one remaining on Azure Blue Star, into the space of vitality. Immediately after, Yuzu turned around, looking at the sea of magma rippling with red waves. He thought to himself, he could hardly sense any other living being on this planet anymore. The Great Emperor, now with a dark expression, finally spoke. "No need to search. All life on this planet has been ended by me." Yuzu stared intently at him and asked through gritted teeth, "Where have you taken Earth?" The Great Emperor stood before him and said arrogantly, "Open your eyes, and look clearly." Yuzu's expression instantly darkened. Just then, the image of the colossal heaven, piercing tree. A colossal, azure blue star, tightly wrapped, materialized in the heart of the cosmos. The heaven, piercing tree's blazing red eye abruptly opened. Immediately, Yuzu's brow furrowed, his eyes wide with an expression of utter disbelief. Within the fiery crimson eye of the heaven, piercing tree was the earth, which it had already consumed. A sudden, eerie silence descended upon the space, the lingering smoke and dust from the ferocious battle yet to dissipate. The Great Emperor gazed down from his vantage point, and Yuzu lifted his head to meet his stare. Abruptly, the heavens transformed. The world-bearing, heaven, piercing tree manifested in the immense sky behind him. He spoke with a cold indifference, "The earth is before you. Do you have any further questions?" The Great Emperor looked down with arrogance, deliberately adding, "I will grant you another piece of information. It contains the corpses of your subordinates, the Golden Ant, the bull demon who once fought against him, the mammoth, and other exotic beasts. They are all on Earth." As he finished speaking, the Great Emperor let out a maniacal scream. "Now, it is your turn to die." Yuzu wasted no words. He instantly appeared directly in front of the Great Emperor. The Great Emperor's eyes widened in shock. "What? This speed? It's too fast." A potent, blazing golden spiritual energy erupted from Yuzu like a laser beam that pierced straight through the Great Emperor's body, bisecting him. The Great Emperor had no time to react and could only endure the blow. Blood colored the air around him. With a frown, Yu Yu unleashed his skill, Galaxy Brilliance. Sharp, spatial blades sliced through the remaining parts of the great emperor's body, causing him to scream in agony. In the next instant, Yu Yu had dished the great emperor's body into countless small pieces. A flight. He unleashed a sweep of spiritual energy that turned the great emperor's body into fine dust. As the spiritual energy and smoke cleared, only Yu Yu remained in the air. The great emperor had vanished without a trace. Yu Yu stood still, looking at the swirling smoke and dust in front of him with unusual calmness. He frowned, his eyes sharp, and said, "You're not dead. Stop pretending." As soon as he spoke, the tiny speckles in the air suddenly converged to form a single raw, red lump of flesh. Immediately after, the great emperor's body was instantly restored to its original form. He narrowed his eyes at Yu Yu and sneered. Standing face to face with Yu Yu, the great emperor said, "I was merely surprised by your speed of progress. Such a small exotic tree, yet you could evolve to this level." However, he remained confident, without a hint of worry. "You've quickly grown strong in this battle, but the outcome when facing me will not change. You must die." Yu Yu clenched his fists, his expression grim, and said, "My power is not just this." The great emperor looked directly at him, and replied, "I eagerly await your performance, exotic tree." As soon as he finished speaking, a blazing red head tore through the space behind the great emperor and appeared. Yu Yu frowned, his eyes slightly narrowed. Immediately after, another colossal exotic beast had also appeared right behind him. The surrounding space suddenly cracked, seemingly suppressed by the terrifying power of the two individuals. Yu Yu and the great emperor stood opposite each other, their true forms finally manifested, ready for the terrifying battle ahead. So, who will be the victor? Catch the next chapters on the Caprama YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to support me. Thank you all very much.